Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Wilma van Staden, and I will be talking to you about the impact of COVID-19 that I experienced within the agricultural training sector, how we transitioned from face-to-face training to e-learning, the challenges we faced capacitating agricultural trainers, and the process of developing online courses as innovative mediation tools for agricultural sustainable education. And finally, I will look at the way forward. Where do we want to be? In South Africa, sustenance farming is a reality. Stats SA indicates that almost 14% of our population is part of an agricultural household. From these households, according to a 2016 survey, 81.2% list source of food as their main or extra key reason for their agricultural activities. Training the agricultural trainers to support and provide guidance in sustainable agricultural practices are essential for future food security in South Africa. Agricultural trainers have various roles. They have to equip future extension workers, entrepreneurs and smallholder farmers to increase productivity and incomes, build resilience to climate change and practice sustainable agriculture. However, many of the colleges and extension training programs do not cover these topics and further skilling is required. For agricultural trainers to be successful in initiating climate responsive innovations, they need to be fully informed, educated, and supported by their management and other components within the agricultural system. My research for the last 5 years consisted mostly of training agricultural trainers and educators as part of a Monthly for Food team. I also developed workshops, curriculum innovation tools, and online courses to support agricultural trainers. The Monthly for Food project focuses on training of agricultural trainers so that they have the necessary tools and knowledge to share with emerging farmers, agricultural students, farming communities, and non-governmental organizations that are looking after the community, such as the NGOs that focuses on keeping families together, but need to teach people how to grow their own food for sustenance. For example, the Setsabela family and child services that serves a community of 800,000 people in the Free State have more than 300 people that they have to feed daily. They tried to make their own garden, but it did not succeed, so they contacted a Monthly for Food for support. So before the COVID-19, we had workshops and change projects within the community focusing on sustainable farming with little water. We also realized the importance of indigenous knowledge into the agricultural practices, and we encourage participants to share their knowledge and experiences with the group. Within the workshops and courses, participants would build, plan a case study, decide what they will plant, and which rainwater harvesting practice to use. The next step was to start with the development of the site. For the agricultural colleges, we thought of ideas how to present sustainable agricultural practices to the students. Sometimes students and other emerging farmers do not see the practical side of sustainable practices and only learn from it in theory. This is a picture of one of our small square meter teaching gardens. On your right, you can see the water tank that accumulates the rainwater from the roof, the flip composter, and the different vegetables complementing each other, thus teaching the basic concepts of sustainable agriculture, water conservation, composting, and vegetable production. This is an outlay of the teaching processes behind the teaching garden that Professor Rob O'Donoghue made to explain to the agricultural trainers the importance of teaching garden and how to teach practices through such a small garden. All this information is available to use on the Monthly for Food website. We focus on the key concepts that participants can understand. Rainwater is captured and stored in various ways, such as roof water, grey water, dry mulching. The water is conserved and also then delivered to the soil, and nutrients are gathered through practices such as composting and cattle dung. Then the vegetables grow. Through these practical activities, the participants' and students' knowledge widens and learning-led experiences in the real-world context can take place. And then the acquired skills are installed. For some of you, this type of teaching and application might seem old school, but if we do not teach specific climate-resilient, sustainable agricultural practices to the agricultural trainers, then we cannot support farming communities. In this day and age, we struggle with water shortages, soil degradation, and weather variations. These kinds of practices can save a family and small-scale farmers. Well, this is as far as I will go on the pre-COVID Amanzi for Food Training of Trainers project. In March this year, the outbreak of a COVID-19 caused South Africa to close down and forced us to rethink our teaching platforms and our perspective on e-learning. The agricultural learning system had to continue with teaching and learning processes by utilizing online learning platforms amidst the limitations set by the pandemic and our social ecological context of poverty and inequality. Transitioning to e-learning systems seemed to be the only option, so the Amanzi for Food online course was developed and launched. We developed the Amanzi for Food online course. The course consists of 3 modules. Each module consists of an overview, core text, and assignment section. All the course materials are downloadable in easy-to-use, mobile-friendly PDF documents. The course is set out in a simple format to reduce data usage and confusion. What makes the course different from other free courses is that anyone can access the whole course and all the information and documentation without registering. But if a student wishes to register and completes the 3 compulsory assignments, then he or she will receive NQF Level 6 certification from Rhodes University. We also try to encourage course participants to participate in the Cafe Forum. All sustainable practices described in the Water Research Commission key materials, the general activities, collecting, reducing loss and holding rainwater, storing rainwater, using water, simple irrigation practices, are all hyperlinked from the online course to the Amanzi website, and the link takes you to the pamphlet in various African languages designed by the Amanzi for Food team. The hyperlinks takes you directly to the specific information that the user wants to read more about. For example, this is a page for drip irrigation. The info card is also downloadable. The Amanzi for Food is a great course for anyone that would like to get simple, practical guidance on how to successfully manage small-scale and sustenance farming with little water. These skills are essential, and all the information is accessible to everyone with internet access. To summarize the key components of the course is based on a farmer-centered approach with collaborative social learning. It's also practice-centered, and it provides opportunities to transform the curricula and training programs. It was a journey and a great learning experience to build the online course. We tried to cater for agricultural trainers, emerging farmers, students that would like to get more experience, and any person wanting to grow vegetables successfully. But now we get to the most important part. Is e-learning sustainable? I spoke in September to one of the representatives at Taung Agricultural College. She mentioned that the lecturers could not continue with teaching during the lockdown, as many students' homes are in remote rural areas with little cell phone network coverage, and other students could not afford data to participate in the lessons. Once they started face-to-face teaching, learning took place again. So, how do we bridge the digital divide between the disadvantaged and the advantaged, the communities in the rural areas and city communities? Is it possible to utilize e-learning platforms to reach people and communities? Is it possible to use e-learning to ensure that no one is left behind and give voices to those that until now have not been heard? There were many challenges that we faced in our process to bridge the digital divide. I would first like to stop a moment and share my knowledge and experiences of the actual development of an online course. The online course is part of a well-established project that is built on a sound conceptual framework. The knowledge, content and flow between participants, facilitators and other actors within the learning system were already established. Once you have a course content and understand the interactive pedagogical processes needed to ensure critical thinking development, you can start to outline your objectives, your course structure, and identify the learning processes within the course. To explain the process of developing the online course, I will also draw upon another online course that I developed after the Manzi for Food course later in the year. The second course is the UNESCO Sustainability Starts with Teachers online course. The focus is an action-oriented approach to transformative learning in teacher education. Developing the online course was quite a process, and there are so many components that one can miss in the initial planning. To start, you have to look at how you will achieve your outcomes. How will your course ensure that the participants will obtain the necessary sustainable development competencies and knowledge at the end of an online course? If you can identify the needs of your participants before the development of a course, it would make a huge difference on how you decide to design your course. What is your participants' data needs, their device preferences, their digital literacy, including computer literacy levels, and their available time? For example, with a Sustainability Starts with Teachers online course, participants require data to participate. Many students use their mobile phones instead of their laptops because that is what they had available. Who will provide the data? And how will you provide access to the course? Some of the participants also work during the day and they could not participate in the 11 o'clock webinars. How do you assist these learners and also to encourage their participation during the course? Once you understand the needs of your participants, you can then focus on the course designer and developer, namely an e-learning consultant. It is essential that the e-learning consultant understands the pedagogical processes and environmental sustainable development aspects of your course. This course designer must have clear and sound understanding of how to design the course, add the content, and maintain the course. He or she will also have to work with a company that hosts and develops the site. In my experience with the development of a Manzi for Food online course, the course developer needs to have a clear and structured outlay of a course that needs to be communicated through to the web designer. Otherwise, delays in the site development can occur. The designer or e-learning consultant also needs to keep good relations with a site designer, graphic designer, and the data-free site host. It is essentially important to have a course designer that understands the interactive learning-led community-based change that ESD course requires. Online learning needs to promote participation in various ways, such as forums, tasks to be completed, assignments to be uploaded, PowerPoints to be watched, is also important. The course developer must also understand the purpose of feedback and using the course data for research purposes. If you use the wrong type of format for an embedded task in WordPress, one might not be able to retrieve the detailed information of the participants for that task. During the registration process of a Sustainability Starts with Teachers course, I met many participants via WhatsApp and email. With my background as a computer science teacher in a rural community many moons ago, I understand how difficult and sometimes daunting technology can be. I had enough patience and understanding to be able to support and assist these participants. The support during the registration process and during the course is essential to ensure successful participation and completion of a course. The next step is to train and support your course facilitators. The course facilitators also need to be able to work in the back end of WordPress and have enough computer literacy skills to manage a students' forums and uploaded assignments. They have to manage webinars, participate in the forum, and support the participants. An online course facilitator's role is quite different than that of a face-to-face educator. A facilitator requires online education pedagogical knowledge. He or she must be able to facilitate active learning, coordinate social interaction online, and manage the course at the same time. Even sometimes, online course participants are also completing the course outside normal working hours, and the facilitators and even the course developer will sometimes need to provide support at unexpected times. Another component of an online course is the administration side. The course administrator might be the person that manages the admin and finances of a project, but also things like the data distribution and the list of registration. Good communication is essential between all of these components to have a successful online course. There are various components that influence the transitioning to an e-learning platform and processes of change needed. Digital literacy is an issue that is not always acknowledged. However, we need to establish digital literacy training for the trainers, the educators, and the farmers. Our digital level in South Africa are very low, and without understanding the technology you are using as a tool to learn, active learning cannot take place. Course participants struggle with data and access to data. In the Sustainability Starts with Teachers online course, we use reverse billing, where the site is data-free for mobile users and the university receives the accounts. This worked out cheaper than sending data to the students. Some participants struggled with old devices or not having devices at all. To make time for the course was also challenging. Usually, when one participates in a workshop, you take time off from work to participate. But with an online course, you can sit in your office and complete it. And then sometimes your other responsibilities overlaps with your course participation. We also noticed that participants really need support and guidance. Course tutorials, webinars, tutoring is very important to ensure your course success. I also trained the group leaders and made short videos of everything that they are expected to do, and that really also made a difference. To ensure participation and also try to motivate participants to complete the practical side of a course, we open a WhatsApp group where course participants can share their experiences and their progress in their gardens. This helps to support the practical side of a project. So what are my recommendations for the development of an ESD online course framework? To allow as many people to join the online course, make the data reversible version of a site. Participants can use the data-free site through their mobile phones or on their laptops by creating a mobile hotspot. Even the YouTube videos and downloadable PowerPoints on the site are accessible free by the participants. The data-free site also needs technical management, but your course developer or e-learning consultant will be able to manage that. Any changes made on the main site will also have to be made on the data-free site. Also make sure your site is mobile friendly. Some of the participants mentioned that the PDF documents were difficult to read on their phones. Maybe consider an audible version of the documents for these participants to access easier. Use different conceptual learning tools. Include different medias of learning materials, such as YouTube videos, PowerPoints, voice notes, interactive forum discussions. Listen to your participants. Favor one that can help you to make your course excellent. In the Sustainability Starts with Teachers course, some of the participants' problems or suggestions help me to ensure the course flowed better, and participants can access the feedback easier. Build networks and support systems for the participants. Always remember to focus on learner-led innovative practices and provide any support necessary, even if it's just acknowledged to the participants. Once the participants that registered sent me some pictures of where she lives in Zambia, and by establishing that connection, I know that whenever the participant is struggling and even might want to give up, she will know that she can always contact me. Support is the key to success. So to recap, you need a sound conceptual framework to support learning, good existing content, a competent course designer that understands the pedagogical processes and the active learning-led change needed for environmental sustainable development innovations. Use different means of communication and engage your participants. Online course requires exceptional technical support, both for the participants and the team. The technical support needs to be patient and understand the course participants. Build networks and to ensure continuous learning and knowledge dissemination. Looking ahead at the fourth industrial revolution, the integration of technology across the agricultural sector is essential. Technology can truly assist the agricultural sector to increase production and ensure food security. But a South African case study of 2018 shows that 8.5 million people are directly or indirectly dependent on the farming industry for employment and income. How do we secure these workers' employment during the transitioning to the fourth industrial revolution? There are 35,000 registered commercial farmers, but still 75% of South Africa's farmers are small-scale rural farmers. The growth in the sector is hampered by many social political issues, such as the lack of title deeds, limited access to finance, water right issues, and infrastructure constraints, such as limited road networks, storage and warehouse facilities. And many farms are not connected to the internet. The agricultural sector reflects South Africa's dual economy, with medium to large farmers using drones and satellite imaging for data collection, while small farmholders struggle to obtain financing even for seeds and irrigation. We need to find a way how we can support and capacitate smallholder farmers towards a fourth industrial revolution. The sector needs to support small-scale farmers and sustenance farming. For the agricultural system to continue to prosper towards innovative practices, we need to look at the whole agricultural system and the learning system within that. The training of trainers, farmers, and other communities are essential. Not only training in sustainable agricultural practices, but also training in digital literacy and how to use the resources available to them. Agricultural education, curriculum innovation, and digital literacy should be our main focus at this stage. Let's now go back to where we started. Imagine future agricultural sustainability. What do we need to do now to move towards desirable state of food security, equality, poverty eradication, successful small-scale and commercial farmers, well-skilled and capable college and university graduates entering the agricultural sector, a support team with solid foundation of knowledge and practical experiences, well-informed and capacitated agricultural trainers. There are projects such as Amanzi for Food that we capacitate and inform communities and establish learning networks to ensure innovation towards food security. What if information technology and data gathering can be utilized to support the rural and sustenance farmers? What if we make use of mobile applications and websites that actually assist the small-scale farmers to run their farm more effectively and efficiently in ways such as how to manage their cattle herd, identification keys to identify diseases, identification of insects, or a support planning crop system that helps a farmer plan his or her next year's crops. There might be many websites and apps and online courses that cover some of these points, but they are not data free. If an agricultural extension officer have these types of informative technology grouped together, data free, to support the farmers, and this is also available to the farmers, it will increase the success of each farmer. To conclude, drawing upon the South African plan for the fourth industrial revolution, maybe what we need is a fresh approach to education, including self-learning and lifelong learning practices. I believe providing the farmers with informative, supportive digital tools, including enhancing digital literacy components that are data-free and establishing self-learning pathways, are the way to go. As this conference continues, my colleagues will discuss many of the topics that I touched. While you listen to the speakers and the conference unfolds, please keep in the back of your mind what future agricultural sustainability is and how can we move forward, leaving no one behind. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I'm looking forward to discuss online learning solutions with you further during the panel discussion. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Amanzi for Food and the Sustainability Starts with Teachers online course team. Without you, this would not have been possible. This is Wilma van Staden, environmental education researcher and e-learning consultant, signing out. Thanks.